left to Elliott. Oh, the bicycle! The shot! Bedoya with a goal! 1-0 Union!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Union Insider presented by Bimbo Bakeries USA, where we talk all things Philly Union. I'm Marisa, he's Sebastian Latou, and we have a new face joining us this week. She's a Philly local, a former Marquette Golden Eagle, and you may have heard her expert analysis on the Union radio calls this season. It's Lisa Carlin. So excited to have you with us.
Thank you. I am thrilled to be here and talk some footy with both of you.
Let's get into it because the Union are back to their winning ways, a 4-1 win over Inter Miami on Saturday night. Typically when a team goes up 4-1, no notes. Everything looks great. But for head coach Jim Curtin, the first comments he said when he sat down for his post-game presser was, "Not our best." How much do you both agree or disagree with that statement?
I really agree with this statement from Jim Curtin. I think playing the worst team in the Eastern Conference this year and in the league, I think the performance of the team was important to get the win, which they did. They scored a lot of goals, which, when you didn't see the game and you see the end of the result, you're like, oh my God, they were like so good, especially at halftime being up 3-0, but they just score on pretty much all their chances. It was not a big fluidity forward. They sit back a lot. I think Miami got a lot of the possession, and it was not that much entertaining as a game, but they did the job. They got the 3 points, but like you say, I think they can really play much better, especially if they play against a much better team than Miami.
And for Jim Curtin, he has such a high standard for his team, as do the players on the Philadelphia Union. So at this point, when you're going up against the last team in the league, not only do you want to pick up 3 points, but I think they wanted to get a shutout in this game as well. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen as they concede 1 against Inter Miami. But they also want to be able to be really sharp all over the pitch, and that's just what did not at all happen last week for the Union.
Coming back from their bye week, the Philadelphia Union were thrown right back into the thick of things, having 2 matches in 4 days. The boys in blue were able to secure a draw last Wednesday in Orlando and put away a big home win against Inter Miami over the weekend. In case you missed it, here's a look back at all the action from Subaru Park.
Okay guys, look, it always feels good to be back in this building, right? Let's make it count tonight. With tonight's exercise, it's a real exercise in our mentality as a team. How professional can we be, okay? Yes, they're missing some guys, but can we still play at our level, at our tempo, play at a speed that they can't handle? Jump on them from the first minute, don't even let them breathe, okay? Let's start with intensity from minute 1. They have no idea how this game's gonna start, the intensity that we're gonna play at for 90 minutes. Let's go.
Let's go, boys. Like Coach already said, this is what we call here. It can be a trap game, all right? Let's make sure that doesn't happen. No matter what, we control what we can control. Let's play 100% professionally from minute 0 to 90th minute, all right? The most important thing, we keep our shutouts, and we're going to get our chances, all right? Let's make sure we win this game. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win!
Allowed off set pieces this year, the most in Major League Soccer. The Wagner in-swinger goal, make it 10. Jacob Glesnes for a 1-0 lead. The reigning MLS Defender of the Year has the Union on the board. Glesnes' first goal of the season, the 5th of his MLS career. The counter, Ua has 2 defenders to contend with, gets by the first, Mikhail Ua, and cleaned up by Frey. This ball will deflect out for a throw by Philadelphia. Good ball for Gazdag. Tried to whip that ball across, crashing into the box. Here's a chance, goal! It was Carranza arriving late. And Julian Carranza for a 2-0 Union advantage. That's his 10th goal of the regular season to double a lead tonight. Bizo. Into the box, touched by Gazdag. They lay this off, and a shot, goal! Block! From just outside the 18, and the Union are rolling. They make it a 3-0 game. Leon Block, in his 8th consecutive MLS start, adds to the Union advantage. And Pizarro lets it go on the dummy. This is Taylor, tees up a shot, took a deflection, and it's in. Inter Miami back in business to make this a 3-1 game. And there's the jolt the Herons needed. Here's McGlynn firing away, rang it off the post. Terrific shot by Jack McGlynn. Glesnes backtracking, the service across. Joseph Martinez with a shot that's blocked. Follow-up try blocked as well. Martinez again, a 3rd block. Ua played in. Carranza looking for the finish, and it's in. It wasn't the most eloquent play, but it's the fourth goal of the night for Philadelphia. The Union tack another on, and this one comes to an end. Philadelphia victorious. They digest their 10th victory of the season.
This was the Union's third 4-goal game this season, and by all means, this is a game that the Union were supposed to win. Inter Miami is the worst team in the Eastern Conference. So, Lisa, does this result speak more to the Union's dominance or Miami's struggles?
Can I say both? A little bit of both.
Why not?
On this sense, because with Inter Miami coming into this game, they were without a number of starters, as are a lot of teams in the league, and they had 4 academy players getting the starting nod in this match. Now, when you look at the Union, though, they didn't play as strong as they could. They had Alejandro Bedoya back in the starting lineup, and they had all of their front runners going at this Inter Miami team. However, 4 goals is pretty good, but only on 3 shots. The Union needs to do better than that moving forward, especially when you look at the competition that's to come towards the second half of this season. So a little bit of both. The Inter Miami didn't give them their best game, but Philadelphia Union cannot play like that against any other opposition.
We're stepping away for a bit, but first, let's take a look at This Week in Union History presented by Premier Orthopedics. This week in 2017, the Union blanked the New England Revolution at home by a score of 3-0. This one saw the score opening with a CJ Sapong goal in the 4th minute, with Ilsinho and Roland Ahlberg adding a goal each to the tally. We're back with Throwback Thursday presented by United Concordia. On August 31st of last year, the Union hosted Atlanta United and throttled them by a score of 4-1. Goals in this one were scored by Julian Carranza, Mikael Ura, Daniel Gazdag, and a late one from Nate Harriel. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Marisa Pilla. Let's get into our first team report presented by Green Mountain Energy. After picking up their 7th home win of the season on Saturday, the Union have to pack up their bags and head on the road for the next 3 matches. That stretch starts this Sunday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The Union have picked up 11 points on the road this season, and earlier this week, head coach Jim Curtin previewed this upcoming match against Atlanta United.
Yeah, look, Sunday game, which makes for a little bit longer preparation week, national TV game, which is always exciting. And when you go down to Atlanta, it's always very difficult. They have an incredible fan base. It's usually 50,000+ people that are down there. You have to be at the very top of your game. And they're coming off of a loss in the league, so I'm sure they'll have a good response at home. It's our job now to go down there, be disciplined, play the way that we want to play, and try to get a result and bring points back to Philly. Right now, we're fairly healthy. Kai picked up a little bit of a hamstring. We took him out at halftime of our last match. I think he'll recover quickly, hopefully. But overall, now we'll have some guys that'll play with the Union 2 this week, which is good to get them, fitness in 90 minutes. We have, Ali building fitness coming back off of injury. But knock on wood, for the most part, we're healthy and ready to go down to Atlanta, which is always tough.
Sebastian and Lisa back here with me to break down this Atlanta matchup. And Atlanta is a very possession-based team. They like to build out of the back. We know the Union would rather their opponent have the possession the majority of the match. How do these two styles play into one another in this matchup?
I think it'd be a great matchup for the Union, especially away in their stadium of Atlanta. Big crowd, so it's the first thing I think for the Union is kind of like take care of the crowd, make sure they can maybe silence them with an early goal. But I think a lot of counter-attack opportunity will be available for the team. Having Atlanta with a lot of great players, especially Almada, who love to get the ball in his feet. Like you said, they love to kind of start from the back, play a good style of soccer, but it could be a great opportunity for the team to go in counter-attack. So I think it really match really well what Jim Curtin wants to do. We probably will see again the diamond midfielder from the team, but it's going to be a great opportunity, I think, to have Michael Ura and Carranza getting into the space in counter-attacks.
How important the counterattacks are for this Union team has been a theme for them throughout this season, but the Union are so comfortable when their opposition has so much possession because they can still control a lot of the game without the ball. That's dropping back defensively, that's setting those little pockets of pressing and counter-pressing, which opens up the space in behind, which Seba then leads to the counterattack and the transition game that the Union wants to play into. So I think it's going to be a really fast battled game between these two sides.
It's kind of the perfect matchup for each team to really try their best to see, these are the styles we prefer to play, and they kind of match up perfectly. But Atlanta's a bit of a head scratcher because they have one of, if not the worst defense in the East. They've given up 35 goals, tied for the most. But they've also scored a lot of goals as well, 37 on the year. So what do the Union need to be aware of, both offensively and defensively?
They need to be aware that the Atlanta team who play at home is totally different from the Atlanta team who play away. They lost 4-0 against New York Red Bulls last weekend. You are like, who is this team? And then they come at home and they score so many goals. So they are really, really different the way they play when they're at home. I think the crowd really helps them. The fact that they play in a different surface as a turf, I think it's a little advantage for them. But they have a very, very good team. They have lots of great players. Yakumakis in front who score a lot of goals. You have Almada behind who can make a play at any time. So it's very, very dangerous team offensively. The thing is to make sure that the team is in great position defensively, not giving too much space between the line, because we saw against Miami at home, the Miami team had a lot of possession. Luckily, they didn't have the same player, so it was not as dreadful. And the fact that they were playing, like not the most difficult pass for the defense, but I think the Atlanta team is a bit different offensively, and they can really make the Union pay and score lots of goals if we are not ready defensively. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in this game, but it's a different team for me when they play at home compared to when they play away.
The Union are headed on a road trip down to Atlanta, so we need to get some keys to the game ahead of this road trip presented by Subaru. Seba, we usually go with you first, but Lisa's our guest. Lisa, please, your key for this game.
Thank you, Marisa. My key for the Philadelphia Union this week against Atlanta is to control the midfield. When you look at this Atlanta United team, they're back at home for the first time in a couple of games, and they've won 6 of their 7 home games this year. They can control a lot of the midfield with their possession and what they're able to do with it. So it's going to be really important for the Union to slow down the ball when it gets to the center of the pitch for Atlanta. And then you look at the goal total for Atlanta. Of their 37 goals, 8 of them have been scored from outside the box. That puts pressure on the Union's defensive midfielders to step up, apply pressure to those players in the central part of the field so they don't get easy looks from outside the box.
And for me, it will be capitalizing on the counter-attack. We already talk about it, but it's, I think, a big key for this game. Atlanta is going to push forward. They're going to bring numbers. I think the team is going to frustrate them, playing a low, defense into their own half. And then when they win the ball, when they kind of feel the path, like you say, in the midfield and win those battles, go straight away with maybe Ura, who can use his speed, into the space. Gazdag, I would love to have seen on the ball right away when we win the ball to find him, so then he can find the perfect pass for the forward. But I think the counter-attack will be huge, but it just makes sure that when we have them, we can capitalize on them.
Lisa, as you said, this is a home match for Atlanta United. They play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is, of course, also the home of the Atlanta Falcons. An NFL stadium. I know my knees hurt just thinking of playing on turf. How big of a difference does it make when you play on an NFL field compared to a soccer-specific?
Yeah, I mean, of course, the metrics are a little bit different and the measurements for these players, but it's a new turf that was just replaced last year. I dug a little and I did some research
your turf
on this
research.
turf. It's always a little different. Turf is a bit softer than grass, and the ground and the ball can bounce differently. It'll roll a lot differently. It's also going to be pretty hot. And if the Union doesn't have possession of the ball a lot and they're chasing Atlanta, that could be a bit of a factor difference for Philadelphia if they have to chase on a hot turf.
We know the Union haven't always been great on their road stretches. Their next 3 are on the road. How do they set the tone on Sunday?
It's just about having really a good game plan. I think the team of Atlanta is, like we said, it's a very good team. They are just 4 points, behind the Union right now. If they win, they can really come back. So they need to get a result. Minimum a tie, but I think they could get the win. But it's just making sure everybody do this job defensively, and then, when they have an opportunity, or maybe on a free kick or on a good counter-attack, they can score the goals. But I feel this game should have some goals into it.
Now let's take a look at some of the action from match day 21 in MLS Around the League, presented by Torque. This goal by Christian Dahome capped off a 3-goal first half for DC United as they went on to beat the Supporter Shield leading FC Cincinnati by a score of 3-0. And finally, Ryan Gold had a career day versus LAFC, tallying 2 assists before putting this ball in the back of the net to help propel the Vancouver Whitecaps to a 3-2 win over LAFC. Up next, we'll spotlight the man who's tasked with filling in for arguably the best goaltender in MLS as Joe Bendik gets the nod on this week's player profile when Union Insider returns. Time for this week's Chick-fil-A Nugget of the Week. Julian Carranza became the second player in club history with 10-plus goals in consecutive seasons after his goal against Inter Miami on Saturday. He joins our own Sebastian Letou, who did so in the 2010 and 2011 seasons. Hey everyone, welcome back to Union Insider presented by Bimbo Bakeries USA. I'm Marisa, that's Seba, and that is Lisa, and we are having a look at this week's player profile presented by Subaru. While goalkeeper Joe Bendik is in his 5th season with the Union, he's arguably playing his most important role with the team right now as he fills in for reigning MVP Andre Blake, who is with the Jamaican national team. Now, there is no like-for-like swap for Andre Blake in the league. We know that. We're not asking Joe Bendik to do that, but he's a talented goalkeeper in his own right. How does the defense for the Union help support Joe in terms of what his strengths are?
For the Philadelphia Union defense, I think a lot of pressure falls on Jack Elliott and Jacob Glesnes, the center backs, the leaders on this team, to organize in front of them as best as they can, whether that's stepping to the ball, making sure there's pressure in the midfield against their opposition. That way, Joe Bendik has really easy chances to make saves. As a goalkeeper, when your defenders are stepping or they make it really predictable where the shots from the attackers are going, it's that much easier to do your job in goal. And for Joe Bendik, he just needs to have the confidence to know that he can command his 18-yard box, especially when it comes to playing against Atlanta United, a team that can capitalize on set-piece opportunities, are going to look to send crosses into the box and really test him.
Yeah, but I think, Joe is a veteran of this league, so he knows, how to play, he knows how to talk to the defense. Of course, he was missing a lot of games. Of course, Andre Blake play every game for the team, so he stepped in, against, Orlando, bring a tie game. I think it was good for his confidence, and then get the first win under his belt at home. It would have been great to get a shutout, but hopefully he can build on what he already did for the team, and he can still control the game the way he's doing it with his own experience, make sure everybody is in the right place, and he has a big voice, so he can really command everything, and he's doing a good job. I think the first game when he came on against Montreal with a loss was a bit tough for him, and against Orlando too. Now he has 2 games with a tie and a win. I think his confidence is much better, and he can really keep helping the team and be in a rhythm now against Atlanta.
And what's the ripple effect? You talked about the center backs, how big of an effect it has on them having a new goalkeeper behind you, because it's not all shot blocking when it comes to keepers. It's vision of field, getting people in position. What's the ripple effect further up the field of having a new keeper in there?
I mean, for Joe, knowing that he played in this league for a long time, I think the guys who are behind in front, they know he can play in this league. It's not like a rookie you just bring in, or is he going to struggle? Is he going to feel, maybe the 70,000 fans in Atlanta Stadium? He knows he's already playing those type of big games. So it's not an easy thing for a young keeper, but for Joe, I don't feel he's going to have any problem. I think it's just the fact that command his defense is going to be loud, so you need to make sure that everybody understands his position, especially on set pieces, and make sure to cover the way they want to play. But I think he's going to do a great job, and we have a good second goalkeeper as him with his experience to help the team.
We're stepping away one more time, but when we come back, Seba and Lisa will tell you who they're keeping an eye on this Sunday against Atlanta. We're wrapping up this edition of Union Insider on the other side. Starting this year, every Union League match is on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Sign up today to make sure you don't miss a minute of the action. You can also check out the live Whip Around show MLS 360, or if you've missed out on the live, you can relive every moment with full match replays. Get this, if you are a T-Mobile subscriber, you get the whole year of Season Pass content free of charge. We are back and getting ready to wrap things up on this edition of Union Insider presented by Bimbo Bakeries USA, which means it's time for our all-state players to watch. Both Seba and Lisa have selected a player they think is going to play a big role against Atlanta. Seb, you're up first.
I'm going with Jack Elliott. So for 2 reasons. First, I think defensively he got better, with the season going in the past couple of games. I think he's going to have a big forward with Yakumakis, who scored lots of goals. It's going to be a great battle, between those two. And I think offensively, the team is getting better in set pieces. Kai Wagner delivered a great for Lowe in San Jose. You see Glesnes scoring the last game. I think it's the turn of Jack Elliott to get a goal on set pieces. So I will think he's going to have a great game against Atlanta, and I hope to see him on the score sheet.
So you think he's just due for a goal because all the other defenders got one?
I feel he's getting jealous. He's Jacob got one. Damien got one. Why not me? So I think he's going to get one in Scotland.
Let's show Jack some love. And Lisa, for you?
For me, I'm going with midfielder Jose Martinez. He sits at the base of the diamond for the Philadelphia Union in their midfield, and he's the catalyst to the defense. We talked about having a new goalkeeper in with Joe Bendik, who can lead and command the defensive shape for the Union, but it's going to kickstart with Jose Martinez, and the transition game is going to be key for the Union. It can start with Martinez. As soon as he picks up the ball, he needs to get his head up, find his front front runners, make those diagonal switch long balls. It's all going to stem from Martinez. He's going to be the backbone of this Union side this weekend.
We talked about coming in from this win over Inter Miami. Jim Curtin said it wasn't their best. They need to play a little bit cleaner. What is the number one key that should be on the top of that scouting report?
Not many room between the line and the defense. I think if Almada is a very smart player, is going to try and find those pockets. Communication will be a key, but being very tight between each other and making sure that when he touches the ball, somebody is on him, I think it will be the key for the game.
For the Philadelphia Union, it's got to be quick transition. Take the opportunities that are given to them in those moments when they get the ball. If it's Glesnes or Elliott in the center back positions, if they can spring forward, even Joe Bendick in goal, if he can have quick restarts for the Union and get on the front foot in those transition moments, it's going to be key.
All right, that's as easy as it does it. I mean, just follow these simple steps and the Union will come back with 3 points. That's going to do it for us. The Union have a rare Sunday outing this weekend as they travel down to Atlanta. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. and can be seen on Apple TV and on Fox. We will be here next week to talk all about it. For Seba, Lisa, and our entire crew, I'm Marisa Pilla. Have a great weekend and thanks so much for watching.